Would you love to attract a steady flow of soul-aligned clients and add 6 figures or more to your business in the next several weeks? If the answer is yes, you're going to love what I have to share with you here today. My name is Desiree Stafford, and I help coaches and other transformational business owners align with what they really want and break through to 5 and 6 figure months with simplicity and ease. And so today I'm going to show you exactly how to do that, right? So before we get into the actual training content itself, I want you to see if you can imagine any of these scenarios for yourself. Can you imagine adding 6 figures to your business within the next 4 to 12 weeks with only a handful of clients, right? That could be 5 clients, it could be 10 clients, it could be 15, 20 clients, whatever it is that you desire, right? Can you imagine attracting leaders who gladly pay premium fees that you know that your work is worth, right? These are the kind of clients who are going to say yes to 10K, 30K, 50K, whatever K fees on the spot, right? Can you imagine speaking your truth without worrying that you might say the wrong thing and lose sales? So this is about you being able to show up fully as the leader that you're meant to be in the marketplace, right? Can you imagine doing that? Can you imagine going from being the best kept secret to being the coach, mentor, healer in your niche without paid ads, posting 24/7, or having a big audience? Can you imagine shifting from convincer to chooser and signing only testimonial clients who are fun and easy to work with? The kind of clients that you feel alive, right? They set your soul on fire. Can you imagine that, right? Can you imagine helping those clients get better results or a bigger ROI without stress or overwhelm? If the answer is yes to any one of these or all of them, then I cannot wait to share with you here today exactly how to turn this vision into reality. So what I'm going to share with you right now are 3 power shifts or perspective shifts that when you make them, will actually put you in your power so that you can realize your full potential. All right, so let's get into it. The first power shift is for you to own your big vision. And I'm going to explain to you what I mean by this, because everyone has a dream, everyone has desires. The problem is the reason why most people don't realize their big vision is because they don't actually own it, right? So here's what I mean. You, number one, have to understand that you're worthy of whatever it is that you desire. Okay, you are creator of your own reality. How could you not be worthy of your own creations, right? So when you accept that you're worthy of what it is that you've asked for, right? And you know that you're worthy because once you ask for it, it's given, then all you need to do is keep up with your expansion by believing in it. So what I mean by this is there are 2 aspects of ourselves, right? There's a human version of us, and then there's the non-physical or the vibrational version of us. We are vibrational beings having a human experience. So there are 2 parts of us, right? And so the minute that you desire anything, whether you speak that desire out loud or not, the larger part of you, the vibrational part of you expands. And all you ever have to do in order to realize that expansion in physical form is for you to believe in what you've asked for. In other words, to believe that you can have what you've asked for, right? That's how you keep up with your expansion. And so you then unite or you sync up or you line up your human you with your vibrational you become this powerful point of attraction, and what you desire comes to you. So how do we get in our way? How do we stop ourselves from realizing what we desire if it's really that simple, right? Well, number one is that, when you say things to yourself like, well, I want this, but it's not the right time. I'm not ready yet. Or I've wanted this for so long and I've tried and I've failed, whatever the case may be. I want, but what you're doing is you're beating up on yourself, right? You're not allowing yourself to go with the flow or to go with the expansion. You're beating up on yourself, you're arguing for your limitations, and what that does is it splits your energy, and that prevents your desires from flowing to you as they naturally would if you did not have this split energy, right? So what do you need to do? You've got to appreciate your enoughness right now. For so many of my clients, I say to them, you've got to break the pattern of thinking where you're constantly focused on what's missing or what you think is wrong and start focusing on what you have right now and everything that's right about you. That's what you have to do. You have to appreciate your enoughness right now. You have to realize that we are all here to expand, which means you're never going to feel totally complete. There's always going to be this desire that you have for more. Right? So then you have to accept that what you have right now is absolutely enough for the people that you're meant to serve. That no matter where you are right now, you are ready to receive what it is that you desire. Your work is simply to believe that. Okay? Because when you do, when you own your enoughness, when you appreciate your enoughness, when you accept your enoughness, you release the resistance, which is the only thing that's standing in the way between you and what you desire. So when you release that resistance, you realize your vision. It's really that simple. Okay? Now, simple isn't always easy. We know that. And we're going to talk about how to make it easier as we go through this training, but I want you to have the general concept, the general idea. All right? Now, I also want you to see what this looks like in action. Right? I'm going to share with you some success stories. I'm going to share with you one right now of a client of mine who really took this on, and she owned her vision and she blew up her business. And I want to share that story with you to give you some inspiration here. All right. I'm waiting to meet Hind. She's a success coach. And when Hind came to me, she was creating a ton of content, working herself into exhaustion. I remember her saying to me that she felt like she was working too hard for too little, which is a sentiment that I hear from so many of the people that I work with. Right there, they get to a point in their life and their business where they're like, enough is enough. I don't understand why I'm pushing and I'm forcing, and I'm not seeing the level of results that I know that I'm capable of. Because every client that I work with is a powerhouse, right? And Hind was no exception. She was a powerhouse. She knew that she was capable of more, yet her bank account was not a reflection of her brilliance, right? And so as you can see in her own words here, she had been settling for $2,500 a month. And when she came into contact with me, she felt like I had given her a personal invitation to wake up, dream again, and step into who she really was. And she was able to stop playing small, right? Now, what I want you to understand here is that she had to own the vision. So often when we make the decision to get the support that we need, to get the clarity that we need, the reassurance that we need, we're taking a step towards owning that vision, right? And that's exactly what she did. Within 6 weeks, we did a couple of things together that I'm going to share with you in this training, in addition to her owning that vision. But this was the first step, right? And so within 6 weeks of us working together, she booked $58,000. Now remember, she was doing $2,500 a month. That's about $30,000 a year, or a little bit less. She made almost double that in 6 weeks when she decided to own the vision, right? Now, she goes on to say that she not only made double what she would make in a year in a 6-week period of time, but it was with her working less and feeling excited and joyful. And I want to point that out to you because that's what gets to happen when you own the big vision. Because so often what we're doing is we're splitting our energy, like I mentioned before. You know, you have these big ideas, you have this big vision, and you're talking yourself out of it. And that's when you feel that push and pull energy that makes you feel exhausted. But when you keep up with your expansion, when you say yes to the vision, when you own the vision, when you take responsibility for it, that's when you feel more alive. That's when you feel excited. That's when you feel joyful. And then you will see the results coming to you. You don't have to push and force for anything. What you want wants you. Okay? So I want you to think about this for yourself. What would be different if you were to own your big vision? If you were to stop shrinking from it, right? Shrinking to fit like we normally try to do, because we're afraid that what we want is too much, or we're worried about what other people are going to think of us. If you were to stop that, and you would instead make your priority alignment with that higher version of yourself, your soul, your inner being, your source, your future self, whatever it is that you want to call it. If you were to make that your number one priority, you would focus on basically pleasing yourself. What do you think would be different? Right? Okay. Now let's move on to power shift number 2. And that is for you to get aligned as fuck. Okay. So here's what I mean by this. One of the reasons why I see so many ridiculously talented coaches, healers, mentors, intuitives, just people with amazing gifts, amazing talents whose work is life transformational, not making enough to live a lifestyle that affords them, or let me rephrase, not making enough to afford themselves a lifestyle that really reflects the massive value that they offer to their clients. It's because they're not in alignment. And this is because many of us have been conditioned to do the exact opposite. There's so many people in our industry and in the world at large, quite frankly, who will offer us guidance that is in direct opposition to what we believe to be true for ourselves, right? And so we will look to those who seem to be in authority, and we will substitute our own inner authority for external authority. In other words, we'll see a guru, for example, who has the result that we desire, but we're often only looking at the result, not looking at their quality of life. And so we then follow them blindly, and then we disconnect from our source, from our inner being, from our soul. In other words, we're out of alignment. And that's what I think causes the biggest struggle. And I mean, not just in business, I mean in every aspect of life, right? So I'm going to teach you today about the 3 core areas that you want to make sure that you're aligned in. Now, there are more, because alignment, if we really think about things, is a cure-all for imposter syndrome. It is a cure-all for comparisionitis. It is the cure-all for everything that you can think of that might be plaguing you right now. You know, if you're having challenges with attracting the type of clients that you want to attract, it has to do with your alignment. If you're having challenges with supporting your clients powerfully, it has to do with your alignment. If you're having challenges with having team, right, it has to do with your alignment. So your alignment impacts every aspect of your life and your business. It impacts your personal relationships. It impacts everything, right? So what we want to make sure is that you are in alignment with who you really are, number one, and what you really want. All right. So for the purposes of this training, I don't want to go too far out there, but for the purposes of this training, we're going to focus on 3 core areas for you to get yourself into alignment with. Okay. So when we're talking specifically about attracting clients, so let's deal with the first one. The first is when it comes to your offers, right? Your offers are aligned when they're based on your zone of genius, your zone of genius. So I'm talking about not just what you're good at, but what you're good at and also passionate about. That's your zone of genius. Your offers are also aligned when you're serving clients who light you up. If you are serving clients right now that you know you've outgrown, you are not in alignment, right? And you know that. You can tell that you're not in alignment by how you feel, right? If you're not feeling lit up, if you're not feeling excited, if you're not feeling happy, if you're not feeling satisfied, you're not in alignment, right? That's a wake-up call for you. Your offers are also in alignment when they are fun to deliver. So if you're delivering your service in a way where it doesn't feel like fun, it feels overwhelming, it feels like, you know, you have to give clients everything in the kitchen sink, you're not in alignment, right? So you want to make sure that your offers are aligned in these areas, okay? Now, you also want to make sure that your pricing is aligned. And your pricing is aligned when it feels like a hell yes, a full body yes, in consideration of the massive value that you offer to your clients, okay? So this is important because so often clients will come to me and they feel out of alignment with their pricing, but they're also afraid to charge more because they're like, well, I don't have a big name yet, or I don't have this big audience yet, or I don't have this, I don't have this, I don't have this. But what do you have, right? You'll get yourself in alignment when you start focusing on what you do have, okay? When you start to really appreciate the value that you offer your clients here and now with what you already know, right? Because it's only your perception of your value that will allow you to give yourself permission to charge more, right? What we often do is we think to ourselves that it's other people's perception of us. It's the prospect's perception. And so what clients will say to me is, well, who's going to pay me this much? None of your business, right? What is your business is that you feel aligned with the price. When you feel aligned with the price, guess what happens? You attract clients who also feel aligned with the price. But what we often do is we look externally, right? And then we'll stop ourselves based on what we think might happen, what we're projecting into the future. In other words, negative expectation. And so what you actually want to do is look at the value that you offer to your clients, and you've got to feel this. So I never tell my clients what to charge, right? I can think my client's program is worth $50,000, but if my client is at a place where they can comfortably ask for $10,000, then $10,000 is the price, right? So you've got to do this based on a feeling thing. You will always know that you have chosen the right price when it feels good to you. You don't want to overextend yourself, not that your program isn't worth it, but if you don't feel that you can stomach receiving it, you're going to have split energy again, right? You're going to resist the sales even though the clients are ready to pay you, okay? So I can't even tell you how many times I have raised my fees from $2,500 fees to $25,000 fees to $50,000 to $100,000 fees. And each time I was able to do that because I had to look at the value that I offer to my clients from a higher perspective. Okay. I didn't think about who was going to pay me. I thought about what do I want to receive for the value that I know that being in this container with me and my energy is going to help the client experience, the time I'm going to save my clients, right? The confusion I'm going to take away, the overwhelm that is going to go away from them, the quality of life they're going to be able to experience because they've done this work with me, right? And I want you to understand that you can do this for yourself, even if you don't help people make money. Many of my clients sell what I would call softer services. So they sell relationship coaching, they're empowerment coaches, they're intuitives, they're healers, right? They don't do stuff that directly ties to helping people make more money. And yet they get to command high ticket fees because they see the value of their work from a much higher perspective than they did when they were only charging $100 an hour, or when they were only charging $1,000 for a 3-month program or $10,000 for a year-long program. Right? When I talk about $10,000 fees, I'm generally talking about shorter term engagements. I'm talking about, $10K for a VIP day or $10K for a 90-day engagement with you, right? It doesn't have to be $10,000 for a year. I mean, when I think a year, I think of 100,000 at least, or 50,000 or 30,000, right? So, but this is from my own perspective of the value that I offer to my clients, right? And everyone has a different assessment of their value, and you've got to choose that, and it's got to feel right to you. But I want you to understand that the only limitation is here. It's not out there, because what you want wants you, right? So if you have a desire to charge X amount of dollars, I guarantee you there are more clients than you could even imagine who are ready to pay you those fees because they value investing in themselves at that level to realize their vision. Okay? All right. So it's got to be a hell yes to you. Now, you also want to make sure that you're aligned when it comes to your messaging. Aligned messaging is when you are owning your unique voice, when you stop trying to sound like everyone else. Right? When you give yourself permission to speak your truth unapologetically. When you do that, your people, meaning the people that you know that you're here to serve, they see you as the obvious choice no matter the price. This is huge because there are so many people in the marketplace who are muting their voices and then they wonder why they attract clients that they don't feel aligned with. Right? You want to be seen by the people that you were born to serve, by the people who will be able to pick up what you're putting down, right? Then you've got to be able to give yourself permission to be who you really are in your marketing, on your sales conversations, even in your coaching sessions, right? So this is about you owning your voice. You own your voice, you will never have to worry about convincing anyone to work with you ever again because they will be sold. They will sell themselves on working with you. And isn't that the desire? Right? You don't want to drag people into your programs and then through your programs. You want people showing up either in your DMs or on your sales calls, knowing that you were the coach or mentor for them. They don't care what the price is. That's no object, right? They'll figure it out because they need to work with you. In other words, they desire to work with you, not need, right? Because no one needs to work with us. We're not here to save anybody. We want leaders who can save themselves, right? And who can lead themselves into our programs and through our programs. So they don't need us, but they desire us. They desire to partner with us as their coaches, as their mentors, as their healers, right? Okay. So those are the power shifts, or that is the power shift number 2, which is getting yourself aligned in all of these areas. Again, to me, alignment is the cure-all for everything. Okay. Now I want you to meet Janelle. Janelle is a spiritual leader and healer. And when she came to work with me, she had made $26,000 the year before. Within 3 weeks of working together, we got her aligned AF, and she made $50,000 within 3 weeks. She did $190,000 in a 4-month period of time. And I love what she says here. She says, I am also attracting clients who are right for me, right? Clients who light me up and honor my work without me having to stress over funnels. I get to show up as myself, and that's mirrored back to me in the level of the clients I receive. I get to show up as myself. How would it feel for you to get to show up as yourself and receive clients who are lit up about working with you, so much so that they're eager to pay you whatever it is that you ask for, whether it's 10K or 30K or 50K, and many of them will be willing to pay you in full on the spot, right? How would it feel for you to align with who you know you really are? right? To free yourself to be that bold, badass version of yourself rather than what most of us do, which is hiding behind, the nice girl BS where you tolerate less than what you desire and deserve. So what would it feel like to give yourself permission to be you and get paid amazingly well for it, right? Okay, now let's move on to power shift number 3, which is for you to relax and receive. This is a biggie, especially if you are a doer or a make it happen type of person, right? So many of my clients are that way because that was my story. That was my journey. And so here's what I want you to understand. Sales are a result of your energy, not your physical effort or time, okay? So what I want you to get is that we don't have to push or force to make anything happen. We allow things to happen. Remember what we talked about earlier, right? Once you ask, it's given. The creation part is done. So you're not pushing and forcing to try to make anything happen, to try to prove yourself worthy. You're already worthy. It's already given to you. So then the work is for you to relax so that you can allow things to happen. This is huge. I cannot tell you how many of my clients, it blows their mind. They're like, I don't get, what just happened here? I'm hardly working and the money and the clients are flowing. I've had clients go from 100,000 a year to 100,000 in less than 90 days. And they're like, what happened? What happened? I was chilling out. And all of this stuff started coming to me. That's how it works. Okay. Because they were able to get out of their own way and actually allow what was already queued up for them, lined up, wanting to come into their experience. Okay. So here's the deal. If you don't have to push and force to make things happen and your work is to allow things to happen, what does that really mean? It means that you need to master receiving. Master receiving. Many of the people that I work with are doers. They're givers. And they struggle to receive. And that is the area in which you need to do the work. You need to expand your capacity to receive. And so when I talk about receiving, I'm talking about receiving ideas. So content ideas, or the idea of what action to take next, right? Receiving the clients. Okay, this is resolving the split energy so the clients can flow to you. The clients who are desiring to work with you, they could be all around the world right now, ready to pay you whatever it is that you want to charge. And the only reason they can't get in is because you're not relaxed enough. You're not chilling out enough. You're not letting go enough so that you can actually receive them. Okay, receive the opportunities. I can't tell you how many speaking opportunities I get, and I don't seek them, but they just come and come and come and come and come. And clients just come and come and come and come, right? And so how does that happen? It happens when you hold the vibration that matches what you want. So example is when you hold the vibration that things are working, that your business is working versus it's not working. This is important because so often people don't realize what they're doing vibrationally, especially if you're a doer. You're not conscious of the fact that you're often taking the action because you're in fear that what you desire isn't working. You're in fear that you're not enough. You're in fear that you can't have what it is that you ask for, right? You have to learn to become aware of what you're doing vibrationally because that's going to change everything for you. When you take the time to line up your energy, it's going to lead you to taking inspired actions, and that's going to allow quantum leaps, all right? Versus taking frantic action because you haven't lined up your energy. And when you take frantic action, you'll get some results. You'll eke out some results, but those are mediocre results in comparison to what you know that you're actually capable of. So many of the people that I work with, powerhouses, and they feel like while they're successful, they know they've only scratched the surface of what they're capable of. Why? Because they're the doers. They're pushing and they're forcing and they're trying to make it all happen by themselves rather than leveraging the energy of the universe, right? I think Mike Dooley has a book called that, right? My point being, is that if you desire a quantum leap, and thus far you have been trying to figure it all out on your own and you can't figure out what's still missing because you're not seeing the results that you know you're capable of, the results that you know that you should be getting by now, it's most likely because you haven't learned to receive yet. Not at the level that you could so that you can actually allow what you desire to come into your experience, okay? So this is a really important lesson for you to get. That the more you can relax, the better you feel, the more you're in alignment with what you desire. If you think about it, if you believed that your business was working, if you believed that those 10K sales and those 30K full pay sales were coming, would you be frantically taking action, hopping from strategy to strategy to strategy? Or would you be relaxed thinking, it's done? I mean, you're going to take aligned action. You're not going to sit around twiddling your thumbs all day. right? But you would take action from the knowing that what you desire is already a done deal versus taking action, trying to force it into place, trying to force it to happen. Two different energies. Make sense? Okay. Because this is important that you get it, because when you do, you can have an experience like Whitney. When Whitney came to work with me, she was stuck at $20,000 a month and she was on the verge of burnout. All right. Within the first couple of weeks, she had a $12,000 day when she was on vacation. And I remember she wrote in our group, she said, I don't get this. I'm on vacation. How did I make $12,000 in a day? I was like, because you chilled out, because you relaxed, because you let go. Right? So often we don't do that. So often we don't realize that we're energetically chasing what we want, and whatever we chase runs away. We can't allow it in when we're chasing it energetically, right? And that's what we're doing when we're physically forcing and pushing. What we're doing is we're looking at the absence of what we desire. And so then we keep telling ourselves, it's not working, it's not working, it's not working. I have to push harder. I need to do more. I have to force this into place. And that is the very resistance that keeps what you desire away. Okay? Now, after her $12,000 day, she celebrated the end of the month with $50,000 in sales, more than double what she would normally make in a month, working significantly less. The following month, she celebrated $96,000. She did over $146,000 in an 8-week period of time. Right? Like, that's huge. That's like 5 times more than she would normally make, doing the exact opposite of what she normally would do. Right? Allowing herself to relax, allowing herself to take it easy, allowing herself to let go more. No longer beating up on herself, which is what so many of us high achievers, hard workers, powerhouses tend to do. And it's that slows things down. It's the pushing and the forcing. It's the hard work that slows things down. It's the ease that allows things to flow consistently, right? So in her own words, you can see what she says here. She's now doing the things that she enjoys, right? The things that bring in clients that she enjoys working with. So her stress level is lower, which makes her a happier wife. And I would imagine it makes her husband a happier husband, right? So I want you to think about for yourself, what will be different if you allowed yourself to relax and receive? If you made the shift from trying to push and force to make things happen to leaning back and allowing things to happen. How much faster could you grow your business? How much more fun would you have growing your business, right? And how much more free time would you have when you're not doing all the things that you used to do before and you're actually just enjoying more of your life, right? Enjoying more of the time that you have with the people that you love. So I want to now share with you why I'm so passionate about everything I'm talking about here today. You know, what I'm sharing with you has changed the entire trajectory of my life and my business. I cannot offer you enough words to express to you how much I am in love with the work that I do. I'm in love with the clients that I work with. And the money that I make is just icing on the cake. You know, I make more in a sale than most amazing coaches make in a month, right? And so I want to share with you why I believe so much in what I've just offered to you, these 3 power shifts, and why I believe that they're so powerful, right? Because they are the reason that I'm living the lifestyle that I'm living right now, right? And they're the reason that my clients are living the lives that they get to live right now. And so I want you to understand that while things are really good for me, like amazingly good for me right now, they weren't always. It was not that long ago when I was really frustrated. I couldn't understand why my business wasn't growing, no matter how much effort I put into it, no matter how much I was doing, I wasn't actually receiving at the level that I knew that I was capable of, you know, and I felt like, you know, I was always worried about where the next sale was going to come from. I was making $25,000 a month, but it never felt like enough. And I felt like something was always missing, and I never knew where that next sale was going to come from. So I was always feeling anxious, and I was afraid when I would show up in the marketplace to actually speak my truth because I was afraid that I might say the wrong thing and lose sales. And I really felt like I couldn't be me. You know, it felt really constricting. I felt really tight. I felt like I was always shrinking, and I didn't like it. I was afraid that I was going to be too much for people, right? And then at the same time, I was also afraid that I wasn't enough. I felt like an imposter. And so it was just not a pleasant place to be in. And I remember the turning point came when I was home visiting my family for the holidays. And I had It's a funny story now, but it wasn't funny at the time. I had locked myself in my sister's room and I told myself it was just going to be a few minutes working on my umpteenth funnel. And those few minutes turned into a few hours of pushing and forcing like I had always done. And I remember taking a moment to breathe. After a couple of hours, I was like, I need a break. And I took a moment to breathe. And in that moment, I could hear my family laughing and celebrating the holiday without me. And my heart dropped because I was like, whoa, what am I doing? Do you know? Like, what is this? It felt like all this effort that I was putting in was for naught. And I was really angry and I was really frustrated and I was really tired because I knew that if something didn't change, then I'd probably be in the same scenario the year after that and the holiday after that and the holiday after that. And I didn't want that. And so there was a part of me that was like, I don't get this because I have so much stuff, right? Like, and I'm smart enough. Like I've invested in all these different programs and all these different courses. And if I'm so smart, why haven't I already figured this out? And then it dawned on me, I was like, wait a minute. Being smart doesn't mean that we have all of the answers. It means knowing when to ask for help when you don't have the answer. None of us has the answer to everything, right? We need other people for their perspective. And that's what I knew I needed. I was like, I need some perspective. I need somebody else's eyes on this thing to help me figure out what I can't see so I can actually get on with living the life that I want to live, right? And so I made the decision to hire a new coach and mentor, someone who, this was important, someone who I believed in me and my vision. This is huge, right? For those of us who are visionary leaders, we need people around us who believe in our vision because so often the people that we love the most, our family, our close family, while they love us, they can't see what we can see, right? And sometimes we don't even know that we can always see it, right? So I knew that I needed to hire someone who was strong enough to believe in me and my big vision. And that was the turning, the moment I made the decision to hire this coach, it was like, whew, in terms of my power, I was like, oh, I'm owning this. I'm owning this vision like I have never owned it before. And I cleaned up everything. I got myself into alignment with my offers. I mean, on all levels in terms of what it was that I was offering, who I was offering it to. Like I was like, I'm only going to work with clients that I can offer the most value to, the kind of clients who light me up. And I am, only going to deliver in a way that I want to deliver, not in the way that I think I need to deliver. It was amazing because I in that moment, I took so much of my power back and I chose my aligned pricing. That was like, I was so proud of myself for doing that, right? And aligned with my message and all that good stuff. And within 2 weeks, I went from being stuck at $25,000 a month to bringing in over $133,000. And I relaxed to do it. Like it wasn't, I didn't even try. Like I didn't even try. It was just like, oh my gosh, I'm doing this. Own that vision. My whole energy shifted when I got myself in alignment in all those other areas, that there wasn't any efforting, because you have to realize that the efforting comes when we have resistance. That's why alignment is key, because when we're in alignment, we release the resistance and it does not feel like pushing or forcing. It feels like play. Marketing feels like play. Sales feels like play. Delivery feels like play. That's what it felt like. And on top of the money that I called in, to me, what was most valuable, most important, most life-changing was that I was free to be me. I was free to be me. I stopped holding back. That was huge. It's changed my life. And that's what makes me feel so passionate about helping other people change their lives in this way. Now, my life is good. I've shared with you several success stories of clients whose lives are amazing. But this is not about me or my clients. This is about you, right? And so I really want you to consider for yourself right now, what would be different if you allowed yourself to fully own your big vision, if you stop shrinking from it, if you stop doubting yourself, if you stop telling yourself stories about not being enough, the BS that keeps you stuck playing small, right? What would be different if you got yourself aligned as fuck, if you got yourself in alignment with the exact offer that you want to sell, the exact clients that you want to sell to, the delivery and the way that you want to deliver your services, the pricing that you know that your work is worth, speaking your truth unapologetically, right? Not worrying about what anyone else will think of you, because quite frankly, when you're in alignment, what other people think of you is none of your business. You stop looking to the left and right and wondering, comparing yourself to other people who are in your niche. You stop all that questioning, all that self-doubt, all that imposter syndrome nonsense. You stop that when you get yourself into alignment, right? What will be different if you were to learn how to relax and allow yourself to receive more? How would that change your life? How would that change your family's lives, right? Like, just imagine what would be possible for you, okay? Now, if you're at the point where you're like, hello, I wanted this and more like yesterday, then I'd love to see if or how I can support you, right? Like, you've got to be at the point where you are ready for a coach and mentor who believes in you and your vision, who can guide you back into alignment with the truth of who you really are and what you really want, so that you can really own your power to realize it, right? To unleash your full potential. If that's you, if that's what you desire, then here's how I can help you. You want to go to www.powerhouseonfire.com/apply. There you're going to see how you can fill out an application, and I'm going to review it. And if I think that I can help you, I'll be in contact with the next steps. Right now, if you're not at the place where you're ready to free yourself from imposter syndrome, people pleasing, shrinking to fit, comparisionitis, any of that stuff, people pleasing stuff that you've been doing that you don't want to do anymore. If you're not at the place where you're ready to release that, where you're ready to free yourself from that, I cannot help you, right? But if you have the courage to rise, if you have the courage to give yourself permission to be who you know you really are and to go for what you really want, I've got your back, right? And I'd love to see if or how I can support you. So go to this link, and until we do speak, I hope you're up to big, bold things in your life and in your business. Take care.